The Breaking Point commander Elena Vasquez straightened her midnight blue uniform as she stood before the ornate doors of the Galactic Council chamber. The gleaming insignia of Earth's unified defense force caught the light from the artificial sun that illuminated the massive space station Harmonia, political heart of the Galactic Alliance. Behind her, Lieutenant James Cooper shifted nervously. "They've been in session for 3 hours," he whispered. "That can't be good." Elena's face remained impassive, though her dark eyes betrayed her concern. "The Alliance has never understood. Patience, James. They think because they can travel between stars in moments, all decisions should be made just as quickly." The great doors finally parted with a soft hiss. An aide, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin, gestured for them to enter. "The Council will see Earth's representatives now." The chamber was vast, a perfect dome with walls that seemed to shimmer between opacity and transparency, giving glimpses of the void beyond. In the center, a circular table housed representatives from the 27 founding species of the Alliance. Behind them, tiered seating accommodated delegates from hundreds of other civilizations. The air hummed with translation fields and the subtle vibrations of species who communicated through means other than sound. High Commissioner Zalara of the Vendari, current head of the Alliance, stood as Elena approached. The Commissioner's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of stress among her kind. "Commander Vasquez." Zalara's voice was melodic, despite the tension. "We have reviewed Earth's petition." Elena nodded, but remained silent. Earth had submitted a formal request 6 months ago, asking for equal representation on the Extraction Rights Committee. It was the third such petition in 15 years, and each previous one had been reviewed and quietly dismissed. "The Council has reached a unanimous decision," Zalara continued. "Earth's request is denied. Furthermore, in light of continuing concerns about human expansion and technological development, we have drafted new protocols." A holographic document materialized before Elena. As she scanned the text, her expression darkened. These weren't protocols, they were restrictions. Limitations on colony development, mandatory inspections of research facilities, decommissioning of Earth's newly developed quantum shielding technology. "This is unacceptable," Elena said, her voice steady but cold. "Earth has been a loyal member of the Alliance for 97 years. We've contributed technologies, resources, fought in your wars." "Your wars, Commander," interrupted Counselor Traz, a crystalline entity from the outer systems. "The Alliance's conflicts are shared by all." "Are they?" Elena's eyes narrowed. "When the Korath launched their attack on the Pleiadian colonies, Earth sent 40 ships and lost 12. Where was the Vendari fleet? Or the Sarn?" She looked pointedly at the insectoid representative who chittered uncomfortably. "Your militaristic tendencies are precisely why these protocols are necessary," Zalara said. "Humans advance too quickly, adapt too readily. The balance of the Alliance is built on inequality," Elena finished. "You fear us because we aren't content to remain static for millennia like the Vendari, because we solve problems instead of debating them for generations." Murmurs rippled through the chamber, some voices raised in anger, others in uncomfortable agreement. Elena tapped her wrist console, and a secure channel opened to Earth's Prime Director. The conversation was brief. When she looked up, her face was set with quiet determination. "Dear, Unified Earth Government has authorized me to deliver our response," she announced. "Earth formally withdraws from the Galactic Alliance effective immediately." The chamber erupted. Counselors leapt to their feet. Aides rushed to consult databases. Delegates shouted questions. Zalara's skin paled to a ghostly white. "You cannot simply withdraw," the High Commissioner said, voice struggling to maintain composure. "There are treaties, obligations, integrated systems, all of which have clauses for dissolution," Elena replied. "Our legal team transmitted the full documentation to your offices while we've been talking." She allowed herself a small smile. "Humans are nothing if not thorough." Counselor Traz's crystalline body vibrated with alarm. "This is unprecedented. No founding species has ever withdrawn. Perhaps that's why you believed you could demand our submission, Elena said. You've forgotten that humanity joined your alliance by choice. We can leave by choice as well. She turned to go, but Zalara's voice stopped her. Commander Vasquez, please, this is hasty. The Council can reconsider, form a committee to address Earth's concerns. We've had 97 years of committees, High Commissioner. Elena didn't turn back. We're done waiting for a place at your table. We'll build our own. As Elena and Lieutenant Cooper walked out, the silence that followed them was heavy with shock and disbelief. The doors sealed behind them with a decisive thud. News of Earth's withdrawal spread across the galaxy faster than light itself, carried by quantum relays and psychic networks. On 1,000 worlds, beings of all forms gathered around communication devices, discussing what this unprecedented move might mean. In the Vendari High Command, emergency sessions convened. Analysts presented data on human military capabilities, expansion potential, technological growth curves. The projections made senior commanders nervous. They've always been contained by alliance protocols, General Jin said, gesturing at the holographic display. Without those constraints, they have 43 colonies across 12 systems, another officer countered. Impressive for their age as a spacefaring species, but hardly a threat to the Alliance's 10,000 worlds. Jen's four eyes narrowed. It's not their current capabilities that concern me, it's their rate of advancement. Did you know humans went from their first powered flight to landing on their moon in 66 years? From splitting the atom to fusion in less than a century? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Monitor all human communications, Jen ordered. I want to know what they're doing. 3 weeks after the withdrawal, the Alliance discovered the first disturbing sign of what an unleashed humanity might become. A routine patrol near the former border of Alliance and Earth space encountered something impossible. A void. Not just darkness, but an absence. A sphere 20 kilometers in diameter where sensors reported nothing. No matter, no energy, not even space itself. When probes were dispatched, they simply vanished. Hours later, the patrol received a transmission from an Earth vessel that appeared from within the void. Alliance patrol ship Vigilant Dawn. This is UES Prometheus. The phenomenon you've encountered is a space-time exclusion field. We recommend maintaining a minimum safe distance of 100 kilometers. UES Prometheus, explain your presence. In Alliance territory, the patrol commander demanded. There was a pause before the human voice responded with unmistakable amusement. This isn't Alliance territory anymore, Commander. This is the sovereign border of Earth space. The boundary buoys were deployed yesterday. This region has been Alliance space for 3 centuries, and now it isn't. We've reclaimed what was historically ours before the Alliance's aggressive expansion. The human's tone hardened. Our exclusion fields are defensive measures only. They won't harm your vessel unless you attempt to penetrate them. Good day, Commander. The Alliance patrol retreated, but the message was clear. Humanity had been developing technologies far beyond what they had shared with their former allies. Prime Director Sophia Chen stood at the window of her office in the Unity Tower, gazing out at New Geneva's gleaming spires. Earth had changed dramatically in the century since first contact. Skyscrapers of carbon nanotubes and transparent aluminum stretched to the clouds. Gravity-defying transport pods zipped between buildings. In the harbor, massive arcology ships prepared for their journey to the new colony world, Esperanza. Director, Commander Vasquez has arrived, her aide announced. Elena entered, her uniform now bearing the new insignia of Earth Independent Command. The Alliance has requested a meeting, Sophia said without preamble. High Commissioner Zalara herself wishes to discuss our hasty decision. Elena's expression remained neutral. After only 3 weeks, I'm surprised it took them this long. They're afraid. Sophia turned from the window. Our deployment of the exclusion fields caught them off guard. They want to know what else we've been hiding. Everything, Elena said with a hint of satisfaction. Project Lazarus, the quantum fold engines, the gravity lance prototypes, all the technologies their committees deemed Too destabilizing or requiring further study? Sophia nodded thoughtfully. The question is, do we meet with them? On neutral ground, perhaps, but not as supplicants. If they want to talk, they need to recognize Earth as an independent power. Agreed. Sophia activated her desk display. There's something else you should see. We've been receiving encrypted communications from several Alliance worlds, the Tari Coalition, Beta Zid, New Rigel. They're interested in our decision, and potentially sympathetic. Elena raised an eyebrow. Defections. Let's call them realignments. Sophia smiled thinly. It seems Earth isn't the only world that chafed under Alliance restrictions. The neutral station Gaia's Hope orbited the red dwarf star Proxima Centauri, technically outside both Earth and Alliance space. Its curved halls were filled with diplomats, spies, merchants, and mercenaries from 100 species, all watching carefully as the first official meeting between Earth and the Alliance since the withdrawal was about to begin. Elena entered the conference room flanked by Lieutenant Cooper and Dr. Aisha Rahman, Earth's leading physicist and the architect of the exclusion field technology. Across the table waited High Commissioner Zalara, along with 3 senior Alliance officials. Commander Vasquez. Zalara inclined her head slightly. Thank you for agreeing to this discussion. High Commissioner, Elena acknowledged. I should clarify that I'm here to listen, not to negotiate Earth's return to the Alliance. Zalara's outer eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of distress. I understand your position, but surely we can find common ground. The protocols that caused such concern could be modified. The protocols were a symptom, not the disease, Elena replied. Earth spent nearly a century trying to be an equal partner in your alliance. We contributed technologies, resources, soldiers, and in return we were treated as children who needed supervision. Your species is young, one of the Alliance officials interjected. Barely 2 centuries in space. The founding members have been traveling between stars for millennia. And, in those millennia, what have you created? Dr. Rahman asked quietly. Your technology has barely advanced in the last 500 years. You've become curators rather than innovators. Zalara's skin flushed with color. Stability is not stagnation, Doctor. The Alliance values careful, considered progress. While Earth was held back, Elena said. No more. We've activated research projects that your committees shut down decades ago. We're exploring technologies you deemed too dangerous or disruptive. Like your exclusion fields? Zalara leaned forward. Do you understand how destabilizing such technology could be to established trade routes, to navigation, to the very fabric of interstellar society? Elena met her gaze steadily. We understand exactly what it means, High Commissioner. It means freedom, security, self-determination, things the Alliance promised but never delivered. And if other worlds follow your example, the question hung in the air. Then perhaps the Alliance should ask itself why its members would want to leave. Elena replied softly. Lieutenant Cooper's communicator chimed. He glanced at it, then whispered something in Elena's ear. Her expression remained neutral, but her eyes flashed with something Zalara couldn't interpret. This meeting is concluded, Elena announced, standing abruptly. Lieutenant Cooper has just informed me that Alliance military vessels have entered the Tau Ceti system, home to one of our oldest colonies. A standard patrol, one of the Alliance officials said quickly. Nothing more. 3 battle cruisers is not a standard patrol, Elena countered. It's a provocation. Or worse. Commander, I assure you, Zalara began. You've chosen your path, High Commissioner, now we'll choose ours. Elena turned to leave, then paused. A word of advice. Whatever you're planning against Earth or our colonies, reconsider. You don't know what we're capable of now, and you don't want to find out. As the Earth delegation departed, Zalara's aide leaned close. They're bluffing. They can't possibly have developed significant new technologies in such a short time. No? Zalara watched the humans walk away. 3 weeks ago, we didn't know exclusion fields were possible. What else don't we know about humanity? Outside the station, as their shuttle prepared to return to Earth, Dr. Rahman turned to Elena. They're scared. Good, Elena replied. They should be. Will they back down? Elena stared out at the stars, her reflection grim in the viewport. No, they'll push. Test our resolve, our capabilities. They've lived too long believing they're the pinnacle of civilization. And when they discover they're not, James Cooper asked quietly. Elena's eyes hardened. Then the galaxy will truly understand what it means when humanity walks away from the table. The Silent Storm 6. Months after Earth's withdrawal from the Galactic Alliance, the landscape of interstellar politics had shifted dramatically. 17. Former Alliance worlds had declared independence, forming loose cooperative agreements with Earth. Trade routes had realigned, military assets repositioned, and humanity, freed from Alliance restrictions, had unleashed a torrent of technological advancement that left their former allies reeling. Dr. Marcus Chen moved through the sterile white corridors of Prometheus Station, floating in high orbit, above Saturn. The station, officially a research facility, had been under construction for decades, disguised as a long-term xenobiology center. In reality, it housed Project Prometheus, Earth's most ambitious and secretive technological initiative. Dr. Chen, a voice called from behind him, the demonstration is ready. Marcus turned to see Captain Diane Harper, military liaison to the project. Her expression was, as always, professionally neutral, but he detected excitement in her eyes. Is the Alliance observer here? He asked as they walked together. Arrived an hour ago. The High Commission sent Counselor Traz himself. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Interesting choice. The crystalline entities are among the most scientifically advanced in the Alliance. Which is exactly why we're showing them this particular technology, Diane replied with a thin smile. They need to understand what they're dealing with. They entered the observation deck, a half-sphere of transparent aluminum offering a breathtaking view of Saturn's rings. Counselor Traz waited there, the crystalline being's faceted body refracting light in complex patterns that indicated curiosity, mixed with apprehension. Dr. Chen, Traz's voice emerged as harmonics rather than words, instantly translated by the field surrounding them. I appreciate this invitation, unexpected as it was. Counselor. Marcus nodded respectfully. We felt it was time to demonstrate certain capabilities to the Alliance. A warning, then? The crystal entity rotated slightly. Information, Marcus corrected. The Alliance has historically made decisions based on incomplete understanding of human potential. We're remedying that. Traz's crystalline body vibrated in what might have been a sigh. Your withdrawal has created significant disruption. High Commissioner Zalara faces growing criticism. Several more worlds are contemplating independence. That's their choice, Captain Harper said, just as it was ours. Marcus gestured toward the vast window. The demonstration will begin momentarily, Counselor. What you're about to witness has been classified as theoretical by Alliance scientific councils for over 40 years. Outside, in the void beyond Saturn's rings, a small, unremarkable probe detached from the station. It drifted for several minutes before activating its propulsion system. The probe accelerated, then suddenly winked out of existence. Phase shifting? Traz asked, unimpressed. The Alliance has similar technology. Not phase shifting, Marcus replied. Watch the sensor display. The holographic projection hovering between them showed the solar system. A blinking indicator appeared near Neptune, over 1 billion kilometers away from their position. Impossible. Traz's voice lost its harmonic stability. No known technology can achieve such instantaneous displacement. The quantum fold drive, Marcus explained. It doesn't move through space. It reconnects 2 points in the quantum fabric. Distance is irrelevant. As they watched, the probe winked out again, reappearing near Mercury, then Mars, then back to Saturn, each jump taking less than a second. This violates fundamental laws of causality, Traz protested. It violates the Alliance's understanding of those laws, Marcus corrected gently. We perfected this technology 15 years ago, but were forbidden from developing it further. Now, you can deploy it across your fleet, Traz finished, the implications sinking in. A human fleet that could appear anywhere, anytime, without warning. Among other applications, Captain Harper added. Traz rotated fully toward Marcus, focusing all sensory facets on the human scientist. Why show me this? Such technology would be better kept secret. Because secrets lead to miscalculations, Marcus said, and miscalculations lead to conflict. We want the Alliance to understand exactly what challenging Earth would mean. In the EET Deep Space Monitoring Station designated Outpost Sigma 9, Lieutenant Sophia Reyes frowned at her sensor display. For the third time this week, unknown vessels had penetrated the outer detection grid around the colony world New Horizon. Each time, they disappeared before identification was possible. Another ghost? Asked Technician Walker, leaning over her. Station. Same signature as before, Sophia confirmed. Definitely Alliance design, probably Sarn stealth scouts. They're getting bolder, Walker muttered. Testing our response times, mapping our defenses. Sophia nodded grimly. Relay the data to Earth Command and bring the countermeasures online. The new ones? Walker's eyes widened. Those haven't been field tested yet. They have now, Sophia replied, activating the system. Around New Horizon, invisible fields of quantum-entangled particles sprang to life, creating a detection web far more sensitive than conventional sensors. Within minutes, an alarm sounded. The system had caught something. 3 somethings, in fact, moving in precise formation toward the colony's main settlement. Gotcha, Sophia whispered, locking the targeting system. Initiate protocol revelation. From the colony's defense platforms, pulses of focused energy swept through space. They weren't weapons, not exactly. Instead, they disrupted the advanced cloaking technology of the intruders, forcing them into visibility. 3 sleek vessels appeared, their design unmistakably Sarn. Before they could react, Sophia opened a communication channel. Unidentified vessels. You have entered sovereign Earth space without authorization. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. There was a pause, then a response in the chittering language of the insectoid Sarn. Human colony, we claim. Navigation error. We will depart immediately. That's not an option, Sophia replied coldly. Your navigation error has occurred 3 times in 7 days. Your vessels will be inspected before release. The Sarn ships attempted to flee, engaging their main drives. Sophia sighed and activated the final countermeasure. A localized exclusion field blossomed around the fleeing ships, trapping them in a bubble of distorted spacetime. Send the boarding teams, she told Walker, and inform Commander Vasquez. I think we've just caught ourselves some Alliance spies. This is an outrage! The Alliance ambassador pounded his fleshy appendage on the conference table. The detention of Sarn vessels violates interstellar conventions. Elena Vasquez remained impassive. What violation of convention would you cite, Ambassador? The one against military espionage, or perhaps the prohibition on unauthorized entry into sovereign space? They sat in the diplomatic wing of Unity Tower, a hastily arranged meeting after the capture of the Sarn scouts. The evidence recovered from their ships was damning. Detailed scans of Earth's colony defenses, communications intercepts, even biological sampling devices designed to test human vulnerability to certain compounds. The Sarn government categorically denies any espionage, the ambassador insisted. These were scientific vessels that strayed off course. Scientific vessels carrying military-grade scanning equipment and bioweapon precursors. Elena pushed a data tablet across the table. Your denial is noted, Ambassador. Now here are our terms for their release. The ambassador scanned the document, his color changing to a mottled purple. This is... You can't possibly expect... Full disclosure of all Alliance operations near Earth colonies, a formal recognition of Earth's territorial boundaries, and reparations for the violation. Elena stood. You have 24 hours to respond. After that, we begin public proceedings, with all evidence available to the galactic community, including those Alliance worlds considering their own independence. After the ambassador's hasty departure, Prime Director Sophia Chen entered the room. Well done, Commander. though I suspect the Alliance Council will reject our terms. Of course they will, Elena agreed. But that's not the point. We needed to show them and others that we can catch their invisible scouts, that we're not defenseless, that there are consequences. Sophia nodded thoughtfully. The balance is shifting. 4 more worlds requested independence negotiations yesterday. The Tauri Coalition is openly discussing military cooperation with Earth. And the Alliance core worlds? Divided. The Vendari and Sarn push for decisive action against us. Others urge caution. Sophia's expression grew serious. Our intelligence suggests they're deploying fleet assets to key strategic positions. If they choose confrontation, then we'll be ready, Elena finished. Dr. Chen's Prometheus project is fully operational. The new defense systems are deployed at all major colonies, and Project Eclipse is ahead of schedule. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Sophia said quietly. Elena's eyes hardened. Hope isn't a strategy, Director. The Alliance spent a century underestimating us. I won't make the same mistake with them. The emergency session of the Alliance. High Council stretched into its 3rd day. The chamber, usually a model of decorum, had devolved into factions shouting over one another. High Commissioner Zalara struggled to maintain order. The evidence is clear. General Cav of the Sarn military insisted, mandibles clicking in agitation. The humans have developed technologies that threaten the stability of the entire sector. Their quantum folding alone could render our defensive positions obsolete. Yet they haven't attacked, countered Ambassador Lorien of the Tauri Coalition. Despite provocations, yes, provocations, he repeated when the Sarn representatives chittered angrily. Your scientific vessels were conducting military reconnaissance. We've all seen the evidence. The humans are playing a longer game, Councillor Mesdar of the Vendari said. They build their strength, encourage defection from our ranks, wait for us to weaken. Councillor Traz, who had been silent until now, rotated to face the central dais. I have witnessed their quantum fold technology firsthand. It is beyond our current capabilities, as are several of their other advancements. You sound impressed, General Cav accused. Perhaps crystals have more in common with humans than with true Alliance species. The chamber erupted again. In the chaos, Zalara caught the eye of her senior aide, who gestured urgently toward a private communication console. Excusing herself, Zalara stepped away from the main floor. What is it? She asked, activating the secure channel. High Commissioner? The aide's voice was tense. We've just received word. The humans have activated something in the Sol system. Our long-range sensors detect an enormous energy signature, unlike anything we've recorded before. Zalara felt a chill run through her body. What is it, a weapon? Unknown. But the magnitude, it's comparable to a small star. When Zalara returned to the chamber, her expression silenced the arguing counselors. We have a development, she announced grimly. The humans have activated some form of massive energy source in their home system. Analysis is ongoing, but preliminary readings are concerning. The counselors exchanged nervous glances. What are they doing? Someone finally asked. Perhaps, said a new voice from the entrance to the chamber. You should ask us directly. All eyes turned to see a human woman standing in the doorway. Commander Elena Vasquez, flanked by Dr. Marcus Chen and a tall, distinguished man many recognized as Admiral Thomas Reynolds, head of Earth's Space Force. This is unprecedented, Zalara exclaimed. How did you enter this chamber without authorization? Elena smiled thinly. We asked for an audience 3 days ago. You refused, so we came anyway. Impossible, General Cav chittered. The security systems are impressive. Admiral Reynolds finished for him. But not insurmountable. Zalara fought to regain her composure. What is the meaning of this intrusion, Commander Vasquez? We understand you've detected our new power source, Elena replied calmly, and we thought it might be helpful to explain its purpose before misunderstandings lead to regrettable decisions. Dr. Chen stepped forward. What you've detected is the first Dyson swarm in human history, a partial enclosure of our sun using millions of solar collectors. It's been under construction for decades, hidden by gravitational lensing technology. A weapon? Counselor E. Mesdar demanded. Power, Dr. Chen corrected. Clean, limitless power to fuel our expansion, our research, our defense, and yes, our weapons if necessary. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Such energy production was exponentially beyond even the most advanced Alliance worlds. Why are you telling us this? Zalara finally asked. Because we're tired of the games, Elena said, stepping into the center of the chamber. The espionage, the threats, the military posturing. For 6 months we've watched the Alliance debate whether to accept our independence or attempt to force our return. And so you come to threaten us with your new power? General Cav asked bitterly. No. Elena's voice softened surprisingly. We come to offer you a choice. Admiral Reynolds produced a data crystal, placing it on the central dais. This contains a proposal, a new framework for relations between Earth and the Alliance, not as members but as equals, independent but cooperative on matters of mutual interest. Why would we accept such terms? Zalara asked. Your actions have destabilized centuries of order. Because the old order was built on inequality, Elena replied. And because the alternative is watching the Alliance continue to fracture as more worlds follow our example. She paused, looking around the chamber. We don't want conflict, High Commissioner. We never did. We simply refuse to accept second-class status in a galaxy we share. Counselor Traz moved forward, facets glittering in the chamber's light. I believe we should consider their proposal. The alternative is unthinkable, Dr. Chen finished quietly. For all of us. For a long moment the chamber was silent. Then Zalara reached for the data crystal. We will review your proposal, Commander. That is all I can promise. Elena nodded. That's all we ask. She turned to go, then paused. One more thing, High Commissioner. The energy signature you detected, it's at 10% capacity. Just something to consider during your deliberations. As the humans departed, the chamber remained silent. Finally, Counselor Lorian of the Tari spoke. I believe, colleagues, that the balance of power has shifted. The question is no longer whether we can bring humanity back to our table. It's whether they'll invite us to theirs. 3 weeks later, Commander Elena Vasquez stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned UES Prometheus, Earth's first vessel equipped with the quantum fold drive for military use. Beside her, Lieutenant Cooper gazed out at the assembled fleet. 50 ships of varying sizes, all bearing the insignia of Earth's independent forces. Quite a sight, he murmured. A necessary one, Elena replied. The Alliance Council votes today on our proposal. Do you think they'll accept? Elena watched as a shuttle approached from the nearby diplomatic station. I think they're beginning to understand their options. The shuttle docked, and minutes later, High Commissioner Zalara was escorted onto the deck. The Vendari leader looked smaller somehow, less imposing than she had in the Alliance chamber. Commander Vasquez, she greeted Elena with a formal bow. An impressive vessel. Thank you, High Commissioner. Has the Council reached a decision? Zalara's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. By a narrow margin, yes. The Alliance accepts your proposal for a new cooperative framework between independent powers. She paused. With conditions, of course. Of course, Elena agreed, gesturing toward a conference room. Shall we discuss them? As they walked, Zalara spoke quietly. I must ask, Commander, would Earth truly have stood alone if we had rejected your terms, against the combined might of the Alliance? Elena stopped, turning to face the Vendari diplomat. We never wanted to stand alone, High Commissioner. We simply refused to kneel. She smiled slightly. But if you're asking whether we would have fought rather than submit, history suggests that humanity is at its most dangerous when cornered. So I've observed, Zalara replied dryly. Perhaps that's why 17 worlds followed your example, with more considering it. You've fundamentally changed the galaxy, Commander Vasquez. No, Elena shook her head. We simply reminded everyone that alliances should be based on mutual respect, not dominance. The true change will come from what we build next, together, as equals. As they entered the conference room to begin negotiations, Lieutenant Cooper remained on the observation deck, watching the Earth fleet and beyond. The ships from former Alliance worlds now allied with humanity. The galaxy had indeed changed. The old hierarchy was crumbling, a new order emerging. All because humanity had walked away from the table and built their own instead. Far beyond the negotiating ships in Earth's home system, the partial Dyson, Swarm continued its silent collection of solar energy, powering humanity's rapid expansion and development. New colonies were being established at an unprecedented rate. Research into technologies once deemed too dangerous flourished, and throughout the galaxy, a new understanding was taking root. Humanity would never again accept less than equality among the stars. They had withdrawn not in defeat, but in determination, not in fear, but in fierce independence. The galaxy had watched in horror as humanity walked away from the table. Now it watched in awe as humanity reshaped the future, not just for Earth, but for all species who dared to stand as equals in the vast cosmic night.